Hey guys, thanks for visiting Tech Connect. I'm Rivers and I hope you're having an awesome day. Today I want to show you the new Samsung Gear 360 2017 edition. I've also got the Gear 360 2016 edition, so I'll be comparing that a little bit along the way as well. So I'm pretty used to using 360 degree cameras because I've been using this guy for about a year now, and I've been using this guy for about a month, so I can kind of tell you what it's like to use them and some of the differences in the cameras. So first off, you can see that the new 2017 edition has a different look. It's actually been redesigned and it's a bit smaller now, and it's got the handle kind of built into the camera body, and inside of there's also a battery that's now built in instead of the removable battery from the old one. But the new battery is actually quite a bit more efficient. It seems to last way longer than the old one, so that is a really nice thing to have. Also, the new one has USB Type-C, and then they both have a micro SD card slot. This guy can go up to 256 gigabytes, and I'll show you some of the micro SD cards that I use in a little bit. They're both also water and dust resistant. They have little gaskets in the openings and things like that, so if you get like rained on or something like that, it should be okay, but you can't go underwater with these guys. Next up, the 2017 version comes with a little ring that you can use to prop it up on a table, but really I'd highly recommend getting a selfie stick with tripod like this setup right here for any 360 camera that you have. So I really like this selfie stick that I've got here. It's very inexpensive, it's like 18 bucks. Basically just turn it a little bit to loosen it up, extend it, turn it back to lock it down, and then you've got about a chest-eye camera right here that you can use. And you need your 360 degree camera to be up off the ground or not on a table all the time. I mean, once in a while that's a cool shot, but the majority of the time you want it to be kind of where your head is at, so this is the way to go for sure. Then just turn it a little bit, unlock, drop it back down, and you're ready to go. And then this tripod down here actually unscrews and removes, so you could stick a better tripod on here. And this camera is threaded on the bottom for a regular 1/4 inch tripod hole. So the old camera was also threaded for a standard 1/4 inch tripod hole, and then you could unscrew this little tripod that came with it, and I made this out of a selfie stick called the X-Shot because it has threaded to connect to a tripod down here, and then I put this Manfrotto mini tripod on the bottom, and then you can just actually screw this guy on like this and then prop it up right here. And this Manfrotto mini tripod is awesome because it's got this little button and you can just move it any way you want. So say you had to put this onto like a hill or something like that, you could adjust the angle of the mini tripod so it's like on a hillside and then stick it straight up from there, because otherwise if it's straight out it's going to just fall over. So highly recommend these little mini tripods for any 360 degree camera that you get. So both of these cameras can be controlled with a smartphone. You can see what the camera sees on the screen and then remotely control the shutter from the phone, and you can also control the mode like the picture mode, video mode, time-lapse mode, if you have a timer set on it. Things like that can be controlled from the phone. These guys can be controlled with the Galaxy series phones, so Galaxy S6, Galaxy S7, Galaxy S8, Galaxy S8 Plus, and the Note 5 can work on both of these. The cool thing with the 2017 version is that the iPhone is also supported on here, so that's really awesome because that opens up a whole bunch more phones that you can use with. So this guy works with the iPhone 6s, the 7, 7 Plus can all work on this one also, so that is really nice to have. Now there is one downside, but it's not that big a deal. The iPhone app is not quite as developed as the Android app, so like say when you're shooting video, you can start it with the remote trigger, but then it's not seeing the live video as you're shooting, and then when you stop it, you can see the live video on the screen again. So not really that big a deal because you can still set it up before you shoot it, but I just thought I would mention that, and it might change. Maybe they'll add that feature later in the iPhone software. So now I want to talk about probably the most important thing with 360 degree cameras, and that is the image quality. First we'll talk about the photo image quality and then the video image quality. So this guy has a 31 megapixel still image in 360 degrees, and this guy has a 16 megapixel still image in 360 degrees. And the resolution is kind of important when you're wearing a VR headset. You can see the pixels all the way up to about 30 megapixels on the camera, so you need about 30 megapixels to have a good image. So I'd say the image resolution is actually better on the old camera, but there's some key issues that are better on the new camera. The new one is better in low light, and even low light, like just indoors, is much better on the new one. And the image quality is also better. I don't know if it's a better lens or probably a better sensor, but it just looks a little bit better. So if you're gonna be shooting like pictures to put on Facebook and on the internet and stuff like that, this guy's gonna be your best bet. But if you want it for VR viewing, this guy might be the one to go with, especially if you have a well-lit situation all the time. Now let's talk about video quality, because the video quality on this guy is much better because of a couple reasons. First of all, this shoots at full 4K at 24 frames per second, whereas this guy only shoots in UHD at 24p. So that's going to get you about 10% more resolution, so it's going to look better. And then another reason it looks much better is this guy actually shoots in H.265, which is a new codec, more compressed, but at the same file size, you're going to get way more quality because it's more compression, but the same file size. So anyways, if you just look at the video quality, this guy looks much better. So you can also shoot at 1080p 60 frames per second on this guy, whereas this one doesn't have that option. So hands down video quality, this guy wins. And then of course the battery life. This guy has a removable battery, this guy has a built-in battery, but for some reason, even though this battery is a little bit smaller even, it lasts quite a bit longer. And if you're using the remote control, you're probably gonna get about an hour and a half of battery out of it, maybe 2 hours, depending how much you have it on. But if you don't use the phone as a remote control, you're gonna get a lot longer battery life on both of them. So one thing I really like about doing photos on these guys is, say you're in a busy area, you're on the strip in Vegas, and you snap a picture, you're gonna have the people in mid-stride just completely stopped, frozen in time in 360 degrees, and it looks so cool. Whereas if you use like a phone to like paint around and get your 360 video, it's completely deformed. You know, there'll be a leg over here, there'll be a floating head over here. So definitely these are awesome for still photos in with a lot of movement, like people and things like that. Of course, I like them for like scenery and stuff. And one thing that I would recommend is get really close up to whatever you want to get. Because when things start getting, you know, like a giant mountain in the background, it just doesn't give you that cool effect when you're using the VR goggles as if you're close up to things. So get right there in the middle of the situation. Also, I've heard people complain about stitching problems before. Even on this guy, they complain about it. I never really thought it was a problem. I mean, if you're like a foot and a half away, you're gonna see stitching issues. But once you get about 3 or 4 or 5 feet away, there's never any stitching issues. I don't notice them at least. This guy I actually noticed a little bit of when it has the little donut around the bottom for the stand. Sometimes you see the string in the video or even the donut itself. So that was one issue, but with this selfie stick, you barely see anything. Once in a while, you'll see the legs down here, but that's kind of unavoidable. So to sum it up, my pick, since I like video mostly, is definitely this guy. If you were just gonna be doing stills in well-lit areas, maybe this guy would be the one to go with, but pretty much overall, most things, this guy is better. Low light, video quality, even image quality is better, especially in low light. But if you need that VR viewing high resolution image, this guy might be the way to go. So I'm gonna shoot some 360 degree sample footage with this guy, and I'll add it on my channel, and I'll add a link to it at the end of this video and in the video description. Also, if you guys want me to, I'll do a comparison video with these two cameras so you can see the quality. Let me know in the comments if you want that, and I will add a video to my channel about that as well. All right, guys, I will have links to both cameras, the selfie sticks, the micro SD cards, everything you saw in the video in the description down below. And if you like this video and want to see more like it, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to help me out, hit that like button. That'll help me out a ton. Thanks for watching, and as always, aloha.